Welcome, welcome. This is Dr. Ina, Digestive Reset. I am talking to you today on a really important topic, and the topic is why is it important to select the right probiotic? Selecting probiotic is like fine art, tweaking or recognizing what species to replenish. This is very, very important, especially after taking some type of antibiotic. So that's what we are going to discuss today. Disclaimers to be found below. And just a quick reminder that this information is not medical advice. Follow the advice of your healthcare practitioner while consuming our content. So if you're just like majority of people in this particular country or any other country, antibiotics are widely used. They're used and overused, and we are now even considering that overuse of antibiotics could be a possible root cause of inflammatory bowel disease. Well, not one single root cause, but a multifactorial one of the root causes. And that actually is another possible connection to Crohn's disease and colitis and other chronic conditions. So more research is on the horizon for different methods on controlling Crohn's disease and colitis, ulcerative colitis flare-ups, with other options than antibiotics. But for the meantime, so there are cases that really ask for it and there's a need for it. And treatment protocols, they suggest antibiotics for flares. Often those cool down particular kinds of exacerbation flare-ups. During the antibiotic use, it is important to take probiotics in order to restore that normal gut flora that antibiotics really deplete. And the school of thought was first we finish the antibiotic use and then we start the probiotic. Then we were thinking maybe it's a good idea to do it during. Many different reports, not one great quality study that shows here's the answer, and this is how you're supposed to be taking probiotics at this time. But a lot of clinical reports and a lot of clinical evidence and experience I've been having with clients that suggest that probiotics really make a world of a difference when you take them during the course of antibiotic, but not at the same time. It is really important to space them apart. For example, if your antibiotic is twice a day, you would consider doing the probiotic in the middle of the day. So it's 2 to 3 hours apart from the use of antibiotics. So not all probiotics are the same, as you probably get more familiar. There's 4 probiotics. There are bifidobacteria, lactobacillus bacteria, and probiotics have been used in Crohn's colitis for decades. We have successful results. We have successful research. People with inflammatory bowel disease, they tend to lean towards natural medicines because of the failed attempt of traditional methods. We know many cases like that. And these agents, these probiotics, are becoming more popular. There's more species now available as different kinds of probiotics. Akkermansia, for example, just came out as a product which was never available before. So we do have good news. We do have a lot of progress, and I'm loving all this. But the more we know, the more research, the more clinical cases, the more feedback, the better. I have an experience with Crohn's and colitis clients for 14 years, piles of research. It's really great to know the information. Probiotics are living organisms. They're bacterial yeast, like Aspergillosis, for example. It's a yeast-like probiotic. There's lactobacillus, bifidobacteria. They're considered friendly, recolonizing agents, and they restore the flora for patients with IBD. These would be the agents to use possibly in cases of overgrowth in the gut, right? So you had that antibiotic use, you did not take probiotics, now you have a candida case, or women have vaginal yeast infections. Excuse me. Most programs with digestive natural supplementation often have at least one or two different types of probiotics to restore your gut flora, to improve your gut microbiome. It's always ideal time to repopulate, to put good species in your tummy. Your colon will require one type of a species. Your entire, for example, probiotics that would benefit you post antibiotic use would be a different type. So it's really important to understand what is the ideal scenario for your case, whether it's post-antibiotic use, whether it's an overgrowth situation, candida already case, whether you are even dealing with an H. pylori infections. There are probiotics now that have reports that they help being that antimicrobial agents for the infection. So probiotics are now having a great new concept of not just being the good flora, they're actually going against the bacterial species like an antibiotic would. Repopulating and restoring is extremely important after whether antibiotic use or just if you're just completely depleted. That can even happen without using an antibiotic. That can happen after using certain medication. That can happen after stress. That a lot of times we don't realize that it's not just antibiotic use that can cause a really depleted gut microbiome. And the healthiest type of gut microbiome is the most diversified. So choosing the appropriate prebiotics on top of the probiotics help you even more, because this way you have something to feed those probiotics and, and prevent the pathogenic bacterial overgrowth. And replace the bacteria lost to antibiotic use, for example. And that's even more important for Crohn's and colitis patients, and generally for anyone with chronic inflammation, chronic infections, and so forth. Bad diet, stress, diseases themselves, they can cause that depletion and microbiome being out of balance. Probiotics are anything from, like I mentioned, bifidobacteria, lactobacteria. We now have spore probiotics. We have Akkermansia separately. Akkermansia in its own is a wonder that can improve even metabolic rate. We have L. salvaris, we have L. plantarum, we have probiotics that can help with travelers diarrhea, specific Rhamnosus GG. It's really important to be on top of why do I need it? There's many reasons. You could have dysbiosis. You could be you could be dealing with stress. You could be taking different types of medications. You could be taking hormone replacement, that's synthetic hormone, and that alone can affect your digestive system. So just stay on top. Why do you need it? Multiple reasons. And then which probiotic do I need? Whether it's an S. boulardii, that's an anti-inflammatory agent, great type of probiotic used for Crohn's and colitis patients, with the studies supporting this sort of probiotic. We have synergistic formulas. We have those that combine prebiotic and probiotic. Sometimes that's ideal scenario for those that don't eat enough fiber in their diet. Symbiotic formulas, they're perfect to improve the survival and implantation for the probiotic by adding that prebiotic. For example, those that have trouble, actually they're consuming their probiotic and they are not actually keeping it. So what do? We need to get that great symbiotic formula in. Many reasons why it's really important to get on top of the right probiotics. Some people need more than one, and some people need to change them up. Retesting and testing is important, but if there is no option, get on a good multi-formula probiotic that has a lot of bifida, a lot of lacto, if there is no way to test yourself as Bulati for that anti-inflammatory effect. Ideally, you want to test, ideally you want to work with the practitioner that's experienced and can figure out what type of probiotic you need. I have a great course coming up. Before that, there's a webinar that I am holding on the 23rd of August. I would love for you guys to sign up. That will be at noon Eastern time on 23rd. The link is right below. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Enjoy your day. This is Dr. Ina at Digest to Reset.